Alright guys, I'm back. It's been probably 15 minutes. I was watching some YouTube videos on my tablet while I was waiting. And let's see how this turned out. I think that maybe this weekend, if I have time, I'm gonna go out and see about getting some heavy duty hinges and go ahead and make a hinge press, you know. It's just, I feel that maybe if I had another person doing this with me, it'd be a lot easier. You know, one person could get the press all ready and the other person could just go ahead and get the Kydex out of the oven and kind of fold it together a little better. And, you know, he can kind of, one person could hold on to the knife with the Kydex, make sure it's still folded over properly, you know, while the other guy starts tightening the clamps over the press. But, you know, who knows? We'll see how this turns out. You know, maybe it was actually really good, and you know, I'm just overthinking things a little too much. Oh, it's stuck to the foam a little bit. Oh, it's actually a little warm, but it's not too bad. Unfortunately, you can see where I scored into the Kydex. There's a mark there. Yeah, I could definitely see how this foam probably wouldn't last very long. Maybe for knives like this, it's not a big deal, but if you were trying to press holsters for guns, you would just really wear into the material a lot. But yeah, you can see kind of where I scored into the Kydex here, like an idiot. You know, unfortunately, that's what you get for kind of doing it in a low light and without a ruler. I was trying to use like one of my textbooks to do it, but that didn't work out too well. And by the time I realized that I wasn't scoring on the same line over and over again, I scored 3 lines into it. And eventually what I did was I just freehanded it. It was much easier to follow since I guess it is dark. I gotta do this in like the middle of the afternoon where I can actually see what I'm doing. I'm lighting, you know, I'm not sure, but it's just from up that corner, and that's basically it. But yeah, let's see, it's not bad. You can see that the retention is pretty good. I mean, oh. Like right now, you know, I kind of wish I had a clip, but where I plan on riveting, you know, can't rivet there. I'll probably do a rivet here and a rivet here. And I think the retention will be okay. It won't be the best, but it should at least be comparable with the original sheath's retention. You know, let's say I had a rivet right here. That's a good amount of force. You know, I could definitely use it as a neck knife and not have to worry about it falling off. Yeah, you know, this actually would have turned out really well if it wasn't for these stupid score marks. You know, I might just end up making another sheath for this knife. But I mean, you know, my fear was a little unfounded. You can see that it actually, like, the spine of the blade actually stayed really close to where I folded the Kydex, which is good. It was actually pretty even. You can see because it is slightly drop point, there is extra material here. There's nothing you can really do about that. I'm not going to do a rivet up top here because obviously I don't have enough material. But to be honest, I don't really think it's necessary anyway because I don't plan on using this as a neck sheath. I only plan on using this as a belt sheath, or if anything, like tucked into my waistband or into my pocket. So I don't need a rivet here to hang the knife over. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of fixed blade neck knives just because of how big they are. Even the Azula, it's a really small fixed blade, but around my neck it's still really big. And really the only thing I carry around my neck is an H1 Ladybug. And that's, you know, that's another reason why I went ahead and decided to make my own Kydex presses. You can see here I got this small Kydex sheath from CountyCom. It was $15. This is scrap Kydex and they charge $15 for it. Where, you know, it's not that difficult. Anyway, I'm gonna get my camera downstairs where I can actually drill and not make a mess. Right now I'm in my kitchen. And I'm gonna drill the 1/4 inch holes out for the rivets, and I'll be back later. Alright, we're back in the basement, as you can tell by the horrible lighting. Once again, just one candle source. You can see my hand making a shadow over there right now. But one part that I was kind of worried about was how this whole hammering the rivets would go out, since I didn't want to buy an arbor press. You know, I hear that the smaller rivets, the small size rivets, are much easier to actually hammer than the 1/4 inch rivets. So before I even try it on the sheath, I'm gonna just try one by itself. I really hope I don't hammer my fingers. That would suck if I did. And hopefully this works out. Oh, I can already tell this is gonna be a bad idea. And I might have to go and get that press anyway. Alright, let's get my fingers clear. Oh, dropped it. Yeah, you can see, obviously I didn't, well, I don't know if you can see. I didn't really hammer it hard enough. It barely flared. Just gotta, this hammer's not very, it's not very heavy. It's just a 16-ounce hammerhead. So maybe that doesn't really help. There we go. That was a little harder. And yeah, you can definitely see that, I mean, I guess, I'm not really sure if that's really flared enough. I'm not even sure you can see that. But, actually, it seems like it flared enough. I didn't really roll one of the edges that well. Probably because this wasn't completely straight. But yeah, you know what? It actually works out pretty well. Because of this die, it actually rolled really nicely, even though I hit it a few times. Let's see if you can see in that light. It's a little flatter than it should be because I hammered it a few more times. But if there's Kydex there, it should stop the edge from, you know, rolling over even more. So I guess it worked out all right. I'm gonna go ahead and just drill the holes in the Kydex for the rivets. And I will get back to you guys. I really don't feel like showing myself drilling it because it's going to be pretty boring. I'm also going to use this drill press. I'm going to clamp it there and then I'm going to drill through here. There's actually a channel in the base of this drill press clamp for when you use a drill press. So that way I won't really drill into any of the tables or anything. Alright, I'm back. There we go. Drill 2 1/4 inch holes. These are made for a large tech lock. I suppose the only thing I did right in this whole project so far is I used the center punch, you know, marked out where I want it, and used the center punch on it. And oh, I'm not even gonna bother deburring the holes, just because this really, like, first of all, it doesn't even look all that great. So I'm definitely gonna make another one. And it doesn't even really matter which side I put the Kydex because both sides look like crap. One reason why I went with the Master series of the die instead of the Journeyman series is because this doesn't flare out as much. In the Journeyman series, there's a base to it, and it's, you know, almost like it doubles the diameter of the die that you have, so you can't get nice and up close to the curves of the blade like I am right here. I'm not even sure if this will work out. I'm getting real close to there, but hopefully it works out okay. But yeah, that's one reason why I went with the Master series instead of the Journeyman series. I really wish the needle of this die actually fit into this end a little tighter. But oh well. You do, like, just because there is kind of this wiggle here, so I don't really want to hit it off center or anything. I'm not even sure if you can even see from this angle, but you know, let's try and get this as centered as possible. This seems pretty good. And let's go ahead. Okay, that was one good solid whack. And yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you can make it out because of the poor lighting, but I didn't quite flare it out as much. It is there, but I could definitely hit it a little harder than that. I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. There we go, that's nice and riveted, and wow. Even for a complete newbie like me, that actually turned out pretty well. These, you know, if you're actually gonna do it, definitely invest the extra, what is it, $25 and get these, the Master Series dies, instead of going for the cheap hand mallet ones. Those, you know, they actually don't roll the edge of the rivet, but they actually just kind of compress the edge. And you know, even though like I'm just using a hammer here and I'm not really doing the best of jobs, it's, you know, the results are still pretty decent. You know, I have to say, I'm a little surprised. Again, I kind of wish that it fit in the base a little better, but you know, whatever. First sheath. Oh, almost hit my finger. There we go. Just give it a double tap, just for good measure. And oh, and let's not lose my $35 dies. And yeah, that actually turned out pretty well. Go ahead and get the knife, which I left upstairs. I'm gonna go and get the knife, and I'll be back. All right, I am back with the knife. The fit is actually really good. There's a slight bit of wiggle. There's no wiggle side to side, but when I go up and down, you can see the blade kind of moves. But really nothing, like, there's no real wiggle when you shake it. And I think if I actually put another rivet here, it'll definitely improve it. But the retention's actually really good. It's a little awkward because I'm kind of standing sideways next to the camera. But you see, like, it doesn't really have that authoritative click, but I think I got enough of the handle and the friction fit is tight enough where it's actually not a bad fit. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and drill another hole here, put another rivet here, and then I'll get back to you guys after I've actually cut off the excess Kydex. I'm gonna have to get real close to the tip here to cut off this extra here, but so far, yeah, I think if I didn't mess up the scoring here, this would actually be a pretty decent first sheath, and it would be actually good enough for the knife. But the way it is now, I'm definitely gonna make another one for this. Anyway, I'll be back later after I've had it cut. Alright, excuse the mess. I've got a better angle where right below the light. You can see I've rough cut the sheath. Unfortunately, I dipped in a little too much, and I realized, oh my god, I'm going to run into this other rivet if I keep on going. So it's a very rough cut. I'm going to get the 100 grit sandpaper on here and, you know, sand it away and try and smooth it as much as possible, and hopefully use the Scotch-Brite pad to kind of really polish up the edges so it doesn't really cut into me. I'm also running out of memory space on this card, so I'll have to get a new one. And, you know, I'll come back after I've sanded it and polished it, basically with a final product. And I'll give you guys my first impressions on this whole process and how I felt it turned out.